You must vote Donald Trump back in because as an attorney, as a woman, as a mother, our future of this country depends on it, and we need to stop this from happening. The DOJ is supposed to help our country and protect us, not attack us, because you cannot win in the polls.
Judge Merchant, who's in charge of the Trump hush money trial, makes the unthinkable announcement today. Meanwhile, Trump takes aim at the Department of Justice for the sham prosecutions, which we all know is true. And so what we're going to do is take a look at these clips and react to them. Let's start with that announcement. Go.
This is some breaking news coming from the New York City courts. Judge Juan Marchand, who has been the presiding judge over former President Trump's so-called hush money case, has made a determination that he is not going to go ahead with the September 18th sentencing date for the former president, that it will be delayed until after the election. This had been a really fraught decision for this judge because people had observed, Sandra, that if he had have gone ahead with the sentencing, then the former president could have accused him of meddling in an election. And if he decided to delay the sentencing until after the election, no doubt he would get hit by a lot of accusations that he was acting in Donald Trump's political interests as opposed to in the interests of justice. But the breaking news coming to us just a couple of minutes ago, Judge Juan Marchand, the presiding judge in the so-called hush money case with Stormy Daniels, has decided to delay the sentencing for the former president until after the November election. This is a big decision, Sam.
Okay, so that is the announcement. We all know people on the left are going to melt down, so look forward to more videos coming out about that. But let's read his actual statement. I'll read it to you. He said, "The public's confidence in the integrity of our judicial system demands a sentencing hearing that is entirely focused on the verdict of the jury and the weighing of aggravated and mitigating factors free from distraction or distortion. Unfortunately, we are now at a place that is fraught with complexities, rendering the requirements of a sentencing hearing, should one be necessary, difficult to execute. Thus, in accordance with certain of the grounds submitted by defendant and the reasons for the adjournment provided by the people, coupled with the unique time frame this matter currently finds itself in, the decision on the motion and the imposition of sentence will be adjourned to avoid any appearance, however unwarranted, that the proceeding has been affected by or seeks to affect the approaching presidential election in which the defendant is a candidate." Now, in other words, what is that? I am delaying the election because I want to make sure that it is not a distraction. I want to make sure that it does not influence the election. I don't, as a judge, want to have my name on any article or any reason to say that I influence the outcome of the election. You got to give that judge some credit because so far up to this point, he has not let up on trying to nail former President Trump. This is why a lot of people support Trump, because they see this case for what it is. And no matter how much we want to deny it, the court of public opinion has value around these matters. So yes, you have the opinion of the judge and the jury, but you also have the opinion of the public, and the public is not buying it. Just like they're not buying the E. Jean Carroll case that is based on defamation and the accusation or alleged rape from Trump that has no basis of reality. There's no witnesses. There's no DNA evidence. There's nothing. It's just a bunch of he said this, she said that. And he had a reaction to that today as well. He held a press conference at Trump Tower because he filed an appeal on that case, and there was a hearing today. And so we're going to take a look at what he said. But before I do, I want you guys to go back to the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case. There was audio tapes, video footage, body cam footage, eyewitnesses, documents, articles, right? People who could collaborate the idea that she was not credible, that Amber Heard was lying. That's why she lost, right? And so that doesn't exist in this case with E. Jean Carroll and Donald Trump. There is no eyewitness. There is no audio tapes. There is no video footage, right? And so all they're trying to do is just get them. That's really what it is. Nail them. It's just an embarrassment to the country, especially to DOJ. They could be doing better things, right? With their time and with taxpayer money, of course. But let's take a look at what he said. Watch.
They're using the Department of Justice to rig the campaign. These cases are disgraceful. Now, they're brought, for the most part, in front of very hostile areas where Republicans get 3 or 4%, like downtown Manhattan, in front of very hostile judges, like you wouldn't believe. Judge Merchan, Judge Engoron, and Judge Kaplan, all of them hostile areas and very, very hostile judges. I've never seen anything like it. And very bad thing in this case, New York, very bad thing for New York. Businesses won't come to New York because of what took place with Judge Engoron. I can tell you that.
Okay, so when you hear him say that the DOJ is weaponized and they're being used to interfere with the election, you might say, man, that's a huge exaggeration. You know, that's a bold statement. Can that really be true? Absolutely, it can be true. Whether they are directly interfering in the election or indirectly interfering with the election, there is an interference, because what's happening is these cases are being brought against Donald Trump recently. It's not like they brought these cases against him back in 2012 or 2010 or even 2018, right? They had nothing to say except for January 6th until he announced that he was going to run again. That's when they said, oh, no, we can't allow that to happen. And they came out with all of these cases. Now, let's say that even half of what they say is true. Let's just say that. Let's say half of what they are accusing Donald Trump of doing is true. Should it be getting this amount of attention? Think about that. Would they still bring the case forward? Now, if you have common sense, you would know that the only reason why these cases exist is because the defendant's name is Donald Trump. If the defendant's name was Bernie Sanders, they wouldn't say anything. Or if the defendant was Joe Biden, they wouldn't do anything. Or if the defendant was some Joe Schmo off the street, they wouldn't care. You know how much money they can make off bringing a case like this forward? Not just with currency, but with the political game. How much does the attorney general or these judges gain when it comes to politics by persecuting Donald Trump? So don't think for a second that justice is intact here. This is a political game. The higher you go up the totem pole when it comes to power in America, the more closer you get to politics. And we're talking about the people in Washington. So what's interesting is now you have Steven Crowder exposing individuals who work at the Department of Justice in a way that confirms exactly what everybody knows, that these trials and cases are all shams and just trying to get Trump. And so let's watch that.
Nicholas Biasi is the Chief of Public Affairs for the Department of Justice's Southern District of New York. Something you may be familiar with, and the most prominent federal trial court in America.
Those felonies did nothing to stop Trump from running.
No, in fact, they made him more relevant.
Did that backfire?
Sure did.
And the whole thing is disgusting. They're just out to get him.
And that's why, like, the surgery of the courts is, you know, it's a perversion of justice. He was stacking charges and, like, rearranging things just to make it fit a case. No, to be honest with you, I think the case is nonsense.
State levels like the Wild West. They're like idiots. They don't care. They're all political. So yeah, this guy's probably going to try to lock him up. And it's going to be ugly. They're so obsessed with getting him.
Who is they?
Alvin Bragg, yeah, who I've known for 15 years. He used to work in my office. It's before he decided to prosecute Trump. Did you know who he was? You do now. I'm not sure what he wants to be, but I know he's not happy just being the DA of New York County. So now he's very ambitious. Every real estate person in New York does what he did. Nobody's ever been charged with this.
So there it is. I mean, he's just confirming what we already know. And let's not be naive here. These people that are involved in this process, they all have their own agenda. They all have their own ambitions. This is a high profile case that will be in the history books. So I don't put it past any judge or any prosecutor or any person a part of this process who is personally looking to put their name on this in order to gain political points and advance their career. That's just the way that I see it. Now, I know I have some people that are independent who watch this channel. And so what I would like to do is let his lawyer speak to you and what her message was to voters in regards to this case. Watch.
Good afternoon. I've done this one too many times, actually too many times for the last 3.5 years while President Trump has been trying to fight to get this country back. And I want to speak to the American women, and I want to speak to the people that need to get out and vote on November 5th. I have sat with President Trump for years now while he has been targeted with lies and with judges, AGs, and DAs who have specifically run in this city and others on getting Trump. The Trump administration will fix this problem. We will stop Kamala Harris's regime, because she was there, let's not forget that, and she still is, of using officials from the White House, putting them in DA's offices, in AG's offices, and attacking your political opponent. And this country deserves better than this. We do. We should not be sitting here at a press conference talking about this. We did this in 2016, and every woman had no reports. They come out when it's election time. And as a woman who has stood with President Trump, who has spent extensive time with President Trump and with his beautiful family, I will tell you, that is not President Trump. And I completely am disgusted by what I have seen happen to this person, his family, and the Trump organization that we stand in right now. You must vote Donald Trump back in, because as an attorney, as a woman, as a mother, our future of this country depends on it, and we need to stop this from happening. The DOJ is supposed to help our country and protect us, not attack us, because you cannot win in the polls. Thank you.
Very well said. You know, a few things stand out to me over the past few years. I just can't help, as an American citizen, I don't even care what side of the aisle you're on or what you identify as. It doesn't feel good when all you hear and see is the Department of Justice trying to prosecute a former president. I don't care how much you hate Trump. It's not good either way. It doesn't even matter if he's innocent or guilty. It just is not a good look for our culture, for our leadership, for the divisiveness that exists in this country. It doesn't help anyone. So the fact that the Democrats have allowed this to go on, because it is a Democrat-run operation, don't get it twisted. It's a reason why the cases are located where they are. There's a reason for that. And it's not because they're trying to be fair. It's because they're trying to nail them. And so that's why most people don't buy into this stuff. Now, you're going to have some people who are delusional and Trump derangement syndrome, who's, you know, chopping at the bits when it comes to making sure he gets sentenced to jail or whatever, or he's found convicted. They love that. But the vast majority of people, especially people who are moderate or independents, they can care less. Now, this leads me to my second point. How much time, money, and resources has the Department of Justice used to go after Trump? Not just Trump, but his family. Think about that. While they could be focusing on gang activity in Chicago, or they could be focusing on the gangs that have been crossing the border from Venezuela, right? They could be doing that. But they're not, because it's politically controlled. It's just like what happened with the Secret Service. It's politics that's running that agency, not common sense. That's what's happened to these departments, or these three-letter organizations in the government, is they're all infected by politics, not by common sense. Now, my final point, expect that you're going to see people with Trump derangement syndrome melt down over this announcement that the sentencing has been delayed, because remember, it was supposed to be September 18th, and they're going to make every excuse in the book. They're going to cope, and they're not going to like it. And that's my opinion. What's yours? What do you guys think about this bombshell announcement from this case that was supposed to sentence Trump on September 18th? Let me know what your thoughts are and more in the comments section below. Thank you for checking out the video today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.